Hey, this is a foreigner in the Philippines. Well, a lot of you ask about the old VW bug, and so I thought I'd do a video, show you. Pull the tarp back. This poor thing. If you look on my Facebook page, you will find somewhere there, you'll find pictures, not videos unfortunately, but you'll find pictures of this lovely old car in really beautiful shape. But now, as you can see, it's not really beautiful anymore. It says it's a 1500, but that's just a logo that was available, so I bunged it on. And to tell you the truth, I don't even know where the keys are, so couldn't even get in if I wanted to. Now I left it out the back. Well, I left it out the front of Timio, my brother-in-law's place, and it was beautiful. Believe me, it was beautiful. Unfortunately, I don't know the attitude to an old car in the Philippines, certainly in the community that I live in, is quite different to how I would view it in the West, because this old Volkswagen was gorgeous when it was there, because I bought this for 35,000, my memory serves me. I bought it for 35,000 pesos. Unfortunately, at the time I didn't have the knowledge to know that you need certain papers, and so this has remained in the name of the man who owned it a couple of people back, and when we go and register it, we have to register it in his name. We have no choice but to do that. Once I bought it, I proceeded without knowing about what's called the original certificate of registration. I think it's CR, I'm not quite sure. And I found a guy who would restore it for me. And I even moved into the same street as the guy that lived and was working on this vehicle. Well, we went through it mechanically. It needed very little body work at that time, but we had that done, and I spent about 100,000 pesos on it. Something very close, 80 to 100,000 pesos. Had the paintwork done. We worked on the engine, even though at the time that I picked it up, we started it and drove it to the home of the mechanic. So, hello, trouble.
Is this mine?
Yes. See, she'll try to touch everything. No, it's locked. So we drove it home, and let me see. We parked it at once it was all finished. It was left at the mechanic's place when I came down to Cebu. When I came to Cebu and then on to Bohol, and then finally we decided that we would go back and pick it up. We thought that the paperwork would be easy to do it, but no. I spoke to someone in the local LTO who implied to me that yes, well, it could be done. We were in a hotel waiting for this to be done. That was the only reason. and this woman was talking about it would take 2 weeks plus, I'm thinking, to get the paperwork done, which in a hotel just waiting was no good. We said, is there a way that we could do it? Could we expedite this quicker? Well, yes, we could, but it would cost 8,000. She wanted 8,000 pesos to do it. And then finally I said to her, could we just take it and drive it home to Bohol without that paperwork? And she said yes. So we got in and we drove that from, let me see, from the other side in Luzon. If you look on the map, we drove it all the way down, and we took ferries from island to island. So we drove it all down as far as we could. I should really show you the map so that you could see what that drive was, and I probably will. I'll end the video with that. We left it outside Timio's, but people were sitting in it and playing. And we took it and put it right outside the house of Timio, and Balalut decided that this would be a good car to jump up and down on. And whether you can see what happened with the roof, bearing in mind that it was pristine, and he jumped up and down on here and dented all that and dented the roof, and the thing just deteriorated so fast. We thought putting it outside Timio's would ensure its safety, and we were wrong. So it ended up from there. We drove it to the back of Nesta's house. We left it at Nesta's house. People stole things off it, stole the wing mirrors, which are difficult to find. And this is how it looked. So eventually we decided that we were going to do something about it, and we had Nesta fix up and do all of the rust spots, which actually he did a pretty good job of doing that. And he knocked out the roof, and he knocked out the hood, and then he stitched in these pieces here, which you can see. Stitched those in, and some other pieces there, look, of rust where it had rusted through. And I think he did some on the back as well, look. And we had good intentions of working on it, but then we found other things to work on, and I think we got involved in our mission, and well, there were more important things to do. But that's the Volks. It will be beautiful again. As you can see, look, the interior is good. The interior was completely upholstered.
This is you?
No, it's not new, darling.
This is you?
It's mine, yes. Belongs to me.
Give me a hug.
Okay, I'm not holding you up, okay? We'll drive it. We will drive it. And put new tyres on it all round in order to drive it up here. And it drove from Nesta's house in Talabon, and it drove home like that. We just put new tyres on it. I should really jack it up and put blocks underneath so that the tyres don't become flat on the spot there. But it's on the list of things that we should do. So that's the story of the Volkswagen, a story not yet finished. Okay, so what you're looking at obviously is a map of the Philippines. And let me see if without my glasses I can show you. Well, somewhere in here up in Luzon. This is the main island, of course. Right. So up in here, you've got. God, I should have my glasses. Okay, I've got my glasses on now. Not that. Let me see. Somewhere in here, you'll be able to find Manila. And if you find Manila, you'll find Angeles. Right, and Angeles, San Fernando. So up in San Fernando was where the Volkswagen was. See if I can see it here, look. So there's San Fernando, isn't it? Not quite sure. Anyway, Pampanga.
Pampanga.
There's Pampanga.
Pampanga.
There's Manila.
Manila.
So where is it? Yeah.
Mindanao.
No, Mindanao is down here, look.
Yeah, Mindanao.
Mindanao.
Yeah,
But
man.
what we did was we drove it. Let's take it as if we came from Manila. We came from 2 or 3 hours the other side of Manila. Okay. So Pampanga.
Pampanga.
There's San Fernando City. We came from San Fernando City there. And we drove down to Manila. And then we drove down and there's a kind of a freeway that we went on. And we went on Laguna. And we went on Quezon. And we went down this island here, look. That we went down here. Went down there and up and around. Went down here. Right, and I think, not quite sure, but that might be where we took, the first ferry. But around here, yeah, so from there we took the first ferry and we got a ferry, and I think that then, let me see, we went on to here, went down here, where we got ferries, and we got I remember two ferries, got 2 ferries, hopped across there, and then we came, I think there's a bridge there, and then we got on to Cebu, which is there. Got to Cebu. Or did we go, rather than go to Cebu, maybe we went to Ubay. Yes, we went from this island here, from there, and we went to Ubay, because I remember we didn't do a third ferry. So there's our little island there of Bohol, and we drove all this way down, and we were broke at the time. We'd pretty well exhausted most of our cash, and I remember we were in somewhere like Leyte, I think we were here, and we pulled into this particular small town somewhere. We pulled into this town, and it was on a mountain top. Pulled into a garage, didn't have the money for a hotel, and the ATM, the only ATM in town, was broken. So we were expecting to get money. So literally we had to go through every bag that we had, every bag we owned, every pocket, every jacket, and we pulled together 250 pesos and put it in gas, and it got us to the next town where we were able to get to an ATM. And as luck would have it, I think my pension from the US had come in, and we were able to get the money to drive further down here and get the ferry. And we did all of this with a clutch that was in terrible shape. That the clutch cable had stretched, and if I didn't gauge it perfectly on the revs, there would be a pretty horrible noise. It was most embarrassing. But we got down and we got to Talabon. I'm very happy to do so. And we did it just by driving constantly, sleeping at the wheel. Not while we were going, of course, but we'd pull over and I'd get an hour or maybe an hour and a half sleep, and then we'd continue, and we did it. And if you look far enough back on my Facebook page, you will actually see photos of that journey. We took quite a lot of photos. Unfortunately, we weren't doing videos at that time, and so all of that is lost, other than the still pictures. So that's the end of the update on the VW. It will be magnificent again. It is a beautiful little car. Thanks for looking in and for taking an interest. Bye for now.